Before 2026, the Tata Consultancy Services BPO campus in Nashik operated exactly as you would expect. It was a respected, massive IT hub where thousands of associates worked the phones, handling credit card collections in rows of brightly colored cubicles. Then, in early 2026, local authorities received a highly specific tip. A young Hindu woman working at the facility was reportedly observing Ramzan fasts under intense pressure from her coworkers. On its own, a complaint about pressured religious fasting is concerning, but as police quietly reviewed the initial details, they recognized patterns of behavior that suggested a much larger, entirely hidden crisis unfolding inside the building. That single report provided the opening investigators needed. It suggested that underneath the professional surface of the Nashik unit, a much wider series of violations remained hidden from the company's internal oversight. Realizing the gravity of the allegations, the Nashik police bypassed the company's corporate management entirely. Instead of asking HR for files, they launched a covert operation directly into the workspace. For 40 days, 6 female police officers went undercover. They took on roles as everyday IT employees and housekeeping staff, seamlessly blending into the facility to observe the office dynamics and gathered direct evidence of misconduct right on the floor. When the sting concluded in April, the authorities moved in. Based on the evidence gathered by the undercover team, police registered 9 first information reports and arrested 7 employees, including several team leaders. A multi-billion-dollar corporation has extensive internal safeguards designed specifically to catch this exact kind of abuse, yet it required a state-sanctioned undercover police operation to expose what was happening inside their own walls. The special investigation team formed to handle the case uncovered a severe pattern of abuse spanning 4 full years, from 2022 to 2026. At least 8 female employees, ranging in age from 18 to 36, came forward as victims. The formal complaints detailed relentless sexual harassment by the accused group. Senior male colleagues subjected the women to inappropriate touching, lewd remarks about their bodies, and repeated physical relationships established under false promises of marriage. The group didn't choose their victims at random. According to the investigation, they deliberately profiled and targeted young women who were financially stressed or dealing with deep emotional vulnerabilities at home. By leveraging that financial desperation, the perpetrators manufactured a hostile environment of total isolation. They ensured their targets felt completely dependent on their abusers to keep their jobs, making it nearly impossible for the women to speak out. The psychological manipulation eventually escalated into outright religious coercion. The accused mocked Hindu deities, demeaned the women's customs, and actively pressured them to adopt Islamic practices, including dictating what they ate and demanding they remove religious symbols from their own homes. One of the most harrowing accounts in the police reports came from a 36-year-old team leader. In early 2026, she suffered a miscarriage. While she was still recovering from the medical trauma, one of the accused men approached her. Knowing she was grieving, he relentlessly pressured her to contact a specific cleric in Ajmer, insisting that visiting him would definitively guarantee a future childbirth. The most urgent question for the police was how a group of team leaders maintained this level of control for 4 years without management noticing. The investigation points directly to the facility's Assistant General Manager of Human Resources, Nida Khan. This visual tracks the digital paper trail: 78 written complaints, chats, and emails sent by victims to the HR executive, all explicitly ignored. By burying these messages, mandatory corporate protocols to prevent sexual harassment were never triggered. The complaints officially ceased to exist. The network thrived in plain sight because the Human Resources Department abandoned its role as a safeguard for employees and instead operated as a protective shield for the predators. As the sheer scale of the manipulation became clear, the local probe drew the attention of central intelligence units. Both the Maharashtra Anti-Terrorism Squad and the National Investigation Agency stepped in to review the findings. The escalation was triggered by digital footprints recovered from the suspects' devices. Investigators found evidence linking the accused individuals to the Popular Front of India, a radical organization banned by the Indian government in 2022. Central agencies hypothesized that the Nashik office functioned as a staging ground for a systematic grooming and radicalization network, shifting the focus from individual misconduct to a coordinated, organized operation. The presence of radical literature and coordinated targeting tactics elevated the case entirely. It moved out of the realm of toxic workplace negligence and directly into the territory of a coordinated national security threat. As the arrests made national headlines, political friction quickly followed. Relatives of the accused went on record claiming the men were innocent, insisting the entire police narrative was a scripted conspiracy driven by right-wing groups like the Bajrang Dal. Those claims clashed directly with the physical evidence. The Nashik police did not rely on hearsay. They built their case on direct observations from a 40-day undercover sting, backed up by dozens of retrieved emails, server logs, and internal communications. Facing intense public scrutiny, TCS executed immediate corporate triage. They suspended the accused employees, shifted the entire Nashik BPO unit to a work-from-home model to separate the staff, and launched an internal investigation led by their chief operating officer. Shutting down the physical floor stops the immediate danger to the staff, but a reactive corporate shutdown does nothing to undo the 4 years of psychological trauma inflicted on the victims while management looked the other way. The legal fallout from the Nashik facility has reached the highest level of the Indian judicial system, with a petition filed before the Supreme Court. The petition demands a complete overhaul of how corporations handle these specific types of coercion. It asks the court to establish strict federal guidelines to actively monitor, identify, and prevent organized workplace conversion networks nationwide. Ultimately, the 2026 Nashik case dismantles the assumption that modern, high-tech office spaces are inherently safe. A corporate ID badge and an air-conditioned cubicle offer zero protection against organized exploitation. Companies can design the most comprehensive anti-harassment policies on paper, but those frameworks are entirely useless if the human beings hired to enforce them are complicit in the abuse.